Hello everyone, welcome to 1.8, which is relate multiplication to division. This is actually a really cool concept in math that most of us might not know actually exists, and it's that multiplication is the opposite of division, and we can use that to our advantage when we get stuck on division problems. We can use multiplication to help us solve those problems. So the essential question that we're looking at is, how is multiplication used to solve a division problem? And the terms, there's only one term, and I need you to write it down, and it's inverse operations. And what this means is when you're using the same numbers with multiplication and division, they're opposites. So, like 3, if I said, let me give you an example for inverse operation, so you can write this example down, okay? If I said 3 divided by 9 equals 3, well, that's the same as 3 times 3 equals 9. See how they use the same numbers? They both use 2 3s and a 9. Or I could say 10 divided by 2 is 5, which means 5 times 2 is 10. Now I say this, that some of us might not know this, because I'll be honest, when I was around your age, this was a concept that I wasn't really aware of. If you need to get those, there you go. If you need that, you can go ahead and pause. Okay, those are some examples. But that's what inverse operations is. So don't be embarrassed if you didn't realize that you can use multiplication to solve division problems. It's something that I think most teachers don't really talk about. At least when I was a kid, it wasn't something that I was really well aware of. And maybe I just wasn't paying attention. So let's go ahead and get into the steps. Please write these steps down. So it says turn. Oh, hang on a second. I forgot I had my. All right, there we go. It says turn it into a multiplication problem. So when you get a division problem, you're going to turn it into a multiplication problem. You're going to break the product into smaller numbers. Okay, numbers that you understand, like that you can use. Then you add the factors that you used and you check your answer. We will go over this when we do the actual examples. And we have approximately 4 examples to go over. Okay, so those are the steps. If you want to write example 4 at the bottom, that's the last example we'll have today. So if you want to write that at the bottom or on the second page, if you use a lot of paper, go ahead and do that. Or you can rewind and get back to it later. So I won't go back to this page just because sometimes it shuts down when I do so. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get right into the writing part, the math part of it. So let's do example number 1. Okay. So example number 1 gives us a division problem. It says 85 divided by 5. So the first step is to turn it into a multiplication problem. We know that 5 times something is going to be 85. Okay, 5 times something is going to be 85. Now the second step is to break the product, which is 85, into smaller numbers. I don't know off the top of my head what you have to multiply 5 by to make it 85. But I do know that 5 times 12 is 60. And I know that 5 times 5 is 25, so I could do that. Okay? And the reason I picked 25 and 60 is because when you add those together, it turns into 85. So you want to break it down, but the two numbers that you break it down into still need to equal the product. Okay? So, that being said, I know 5 times, oh hang on, let me just write this down. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, and actually I'm going to put that in a different color. 5 times 5 is 25, and 5 times 12 is 60. And that brings us to step 3. Add the factors that you used. We're going to add these two factors together. So, 12 plus 5 equals 17. Okay, now we go to step 4. We check our answer. Okay, and I'm sorry if this is a little sloppy. I'm going to erase this. If you need to write it down, that's fine. Okay, you can pause right now. But I'm going to show you step 4. So we know that 17 was our answer. So we know 17 times 5 should be 85. So 5 times 7 is 35. The 5 goes there. The 3 gets up there. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. 17 times 5 is indeed 85. 5 times 17 equals 85. Or as they asked us in the beginning, 85 divided by 5 equals 17. And that's our final answer. Okay, I'm going to give you example number 2. You can pause this if you need to finish writing step 4. All right, example 2. Get a little more complicated, not too much though. 168 divided by 7. So, the first step, okay, step 1, you want to turn this into a multiplication problem. 7 times blank equals 168. Okay? Step 2, break the product into smaller factors. The biggest factor I can think of is 84, which is 7 times 12. Okay? So let me take out 168 minus 84. Okay? 8 minus 4 is 4. The 6 turns into 16. 16 minus 8 is 8. That turns into a 0. So we know 168 minus 84 is 84. So that means that 84 goes in here 2 times. Okay? And so that's step 2. Okay? Now, step 3 is to add the factors that we used. Well, I know for step 3, 7 times 12 equals 84. And you have to do that twice, right? So now we add 84 plus 84. And we get... Oh, I'm so sorry. No, that's not what we add. We add the factors that we use, not the product. And the factors that we used were 12 and 12. So 12 plus 12 is 24. So let's check our answer. And let me see if I can use a different color. I'll go back to yellow. Step 4 is check your answer. So we know it should be 7 times 24 equals 168. All right, sorry, that's a little sloppy. And let's check. 24 times 7. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus 2 is 16. 168. So that means 168 divided by 7 equals 24. That is our final answer. Okay? All right. Let's do example number 3. Okay? And example number 3 is... Oh, won't let me write it. There we go. Example number 3 is 104 divided by 4. So, let's turn that into a multiplication problem. 4 times blank equals 104. Okay? And now, we have to see, okay, what factors can we use? And this might be a little difficult, guys, because if you don't know your multiplication facts, it does get a little difficult. That being said, I know that I could break down 104 into 100 and into 4. Because I know that 4 times 20 equals 100 and 4 times 1 equals 4. Like I said, that might be a little difficult. Some of you might not know that 4 times 20 equals 100. If that's the case, okay, what you might want to do, okay, is say, okay, I know that, well, he could do is say, okay, 4 times 10, okay, is 40. Oh, you know what? I totally made a mistake. That is an error. It's definitely not 4 times 20 is 100. It's 4 times 25 is 100. That's my mistake. I was wondering why that didn't add up in my head. So my mistake, guys. 4 times 25 is 100, and that's like 4 quarters is $1. Okay, and the way I could do that is I know that, okay, 4 times 10 is 40, so double that. 4 times 20 is 80, and then you could just count by 4 is 5 times. 4 times 21 is 84, then it'd be 88, 92, 96, and 100. Okay, so let's get back to this. My mistake, guys. You could have also done it a little bit simpler. You could have also said, and this is a great learning opportunity because that's what all mistakes are. You could say, oh, okay, 100. You could do, instead of 104, you could say, okay, I know 4 times 20 is 80, and I know 4 times 6 is 24. Okay, so it would be the same exact answer. Okay, which would be okay, 4 times 20 is 80, and 4 times 6 is 24. If you look at the factors here, 20 and 6, 25 and 1, they equal the same thing, 26. So My apologies for making that mistake, but I'm actually glad I made it because all mistakes are an opportunity to learn, and I don't want you thinking your teacher's perfect because I'm definitely not. And as long as I corrected the mistake on the stream, I think we're good. Okay, so once again, I realized, wait, 4 doesn't go in 120 times, it goes in there 25 times. And if that was difficult, you're like, Mr. Rouse, I can't follow that. Just know, okay, 4 times 10 is 40. Double that, right, is 4 times 20, which is 80. You could subtract 104 from 80, you get 24 left, and say, oh, okay, that's 4 times 6. So now that we've added the factors together, we need to check our answer. Okay, so that was step 3 here and here. Okay, now we got to check our answer. Is 26 times 4 indeed 104? Well, let's see. 6 times 4 is 24. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10, and yes, it is 104. So 104 divided by 4 equals 26. All right, good thing we checked on that. All right, so let's go ahead and do the final example. Example number 4 is that Ken is making gift bags and has 64 pens. He wants to put the same number in each bag. How many bags will Ken make if he puts 4 pens in each bag? Okay, so we're dividing by 4 again. Well, I know that 64, okay, because it means 4 times blank equals 64. I know 64 can be broken up into easier parts. I know that I could take 20 out, because 4 times 5 is 20, and that would leave 44, okay? So, that's step 2. Step 3, okay, 4 times blank equals 20. 4 times blank equals 44, okay? Well, 4 times 5 equals 20, and 4 times 11 equals 44. Now all I have to do is add 5 and 11, which gets me 16. Okay? 5 plus 11 equals 16. And now I check my final answer. Okay? So, does 16 times 4 equals 64? Let's check. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Yes, it does. 64 divided by 4 equals 16. Let me go over the steps one more time. You break down the product, okay, into numbers that you know. I know that 64 is the same as 20 plus 44. 20 is the product of 4 times 5. 44 is the product of 4 times 11, so I got to add these two numbers, 5 and 11. Gets me 16, and then I check my answer. If you have any questions, please ask me. Guys, I know it can get difficult when you get bigger numbers, like the 104 in example 3 was a little tough. But one thing you have to understand is multiplication, you can double things up. Like if I know, 5 times 12 is 60, well, I know that 5 times 24 is 120, because that's everything doubled. So that's how I used it for example 3, and that's how you guys should use it as well. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.